Hello everybody, what is up? It is Antiochos Megas here, and today I think I'm going to commentate on a series of battles, not just one this time. I'll try to split them up in the video so they can be skipped through and, just seen, so you don't have to watch all this, precursor shit if you don't want to. But if you want to, I will introduce the armies of my allies very briefly. We have Hamilcar Barca, who has the Spartans, and it appears as though he has taken 8 Cretans and 12 Spartans. Very solid classic army, a very solid player, one who's particularly, in my mind, good at just keeping like a real-time awareness of everything everywhere over the map. Very, very talented at that, in my opinion. And it's very difficult to catch him making mistakes, also. He's a very airtight player. So we've got a solid flank with a solid faction right here. Myself, Antiochos Megas. I will leave how great I am up to the viewer. I just take the Seleucids. Favorite faction. Gold 2, Cataphracts with the general inside. In my opinion, that's the most effective way to use this faction against Rome, at least, is to lean on the Cataphracts and use all other units in support of the Cataphracts. Make it so you can't lose these units as much as possible. So I advocate chevrons to increase their morale, and the general to increase even further, meaning that they have more staying power paired with their fantastic armor. And paired with that staying power is fantastic killing power against units like Urbans. So these pikes are really just, I don't want to say cannon fodder, they're better than that, but they are something meant to pin down, occupy, hold up units, screen cataphracts, help protect them, support their attack, make sure they don't handle too much pressure on their own. They're not really the focal point as Macedon with Gold 2 Royals would be, quite as much, at least in the traditional 31k sense. And then just 3 archers to help out with any pesky archer war. But I don't think I needed them. It looks like Hamilcar and the person on my other flank, Luke. Luke has quite a lot of archers himself. Looks like he's got 6. I guess he has 6 archers. It's a lot for Rome, but for Luke it's pretty standard. It's the way he likes to play. Although he also often does well with 14-6 as well. And he has 6 cavalry, and the remaining is Urbans. I think that's 8 Urbans. So, yeah, we're just gonna... What a long deployment phase here. Could talk more about myself and my allies. I did take 3 legions. It's a little unique from me, although I think actually this was during a time period I was taking legions kind of often, at least like 3 or 4. It's a very interesting unit. It has the same, actually lower cost than a Silver Shield Pikeman, but way better morale, at least by a factor of 2 morale points. So it's just a little bit more flexible in terms of being away from the general and being something reliable. It's just very vulnerable to cav strikes, but it's not a bad unit. Doesn't kill as quickly as Urbans, that's its downfall. It kills very slowly, but I digress. Enemy players are going to be the Titans clan here, and Demon. First person to introduce is Titans Paglia. One of the strongest Macedon players in 31k, I think, for team games at least. And he's taken 2 Cretans and 4 cavalry, so that's kind of like a more of an old school choice. Usually you see it's always 6 cavalry and then as many archers as possible. This is more of a build the Greeks would take back in the day. It's nice to see it sort of continuing on today, though, in some form. I think it's a very solid army, especially against Greece, so you have some kind of flexibility to chase archers and hammer and anvil, but you also get a lot of very high-quality pikes in good numbers, and you have just enough archers that if you pair everything with your cav and infantry, you should be pretty good against most Greek builds, unless they took, like, some crazy 6-general army or something. Demon over here, he hasn't played in 3 years, so bear in mind what happened in this video. He has not played in 3 years. This might be his first game ever since then. So, this wasn't meant to show to say anything about Demon as a player in general, or the Titans, rather. And you'll see why in a second. But he's taken an army that I think is uncommon for himself. He's taken, it looks like he's taken 5 or 6 archers. So same build as Luke almost. If I recall, he usually used to prefer taking more infantry cavalry style builds. Less archers, kind of thing. And then we have Beast over here, who's also taken, I think Beast likes to be open-minded and flexible, so you'll see him take anything ranging from 17 urbans, 3 cav to this, 4 archers, 10 infantry. I myself, just for the sake of fun, I don't usually take more than 4 archers if I have 6 cav also. I sort of have a little formula in mind to always have at least 10 infantry. That's kind of like a little fun rule I have when I play. If you notice, if I have less than 10 infantry, I probably took some weird Sparta build that's experimental, and took like gold 1, gold 2 Spartans or something crazy. But that's kind of rare for me also. There's not much to say so far. It's a very boring archer battle. I don't personally like to wait through these, but, you know, that's how a lot of people play. And even the older school players, when they took this kind of build that Hamilcar has taken even today, 12-6 Spartans, you did have to wait to use the Cretans a lot. And the enemy team would always take some kind of archer force to counter all the Cretans that the Sparta has. But this is like a massive scale of archer war. I mean, this is like CWB on large scale. Like, just, it feels like CWB on steroids. Just a big, clunky, chunky, good old shooting them up archer battle here, and wow. I think we've won convincingly on this side. It was like 1,000,000 Cretans versus 2 Cretans. Obviously Hamilcar has them spread out much beyond Macedon. And I think the trigger point for the ultimate climax of this battle is caused when Macedon moves away from Rome, signaling that he's going to leave Rome exposed to our cavalry. Now, you might think that because there is Greece in our team, that they should have the cavalry advantage, and numerically, in this case, they do. But it's the quality, there is a huge quality gap between gold 2 cataphracts and even gold 2 Praetorians. The gold 2 cataphracts will still kill these units pretty easily if they engage them head on and are just left to fight with their maces, and they do not get slice charged, like with units going through them effectively. If they don't get peeled, if none of those bad things happen, if pikes don't come and interfere with them, which they will have a hard time doing because they're all the way over here, the cataphracts will annihilate this amount of units pretty quickly. Bear in mind, Demon hasn't played in 3 years, so we're not necessarily saying this is the work of genius, but it kind of shows the physical power of cataphracts, I thought. And it's my favorite faction, I think, right now, so why not show it? It also shows, like, I think this battle kind of shows, it's a really good idealized exposition, I guess you could say, of how they work best and how they work, more specifically, how they work best in conjunction with the rest of the units. It's important to keep in mind that you don't have only 6 units and then throw away pikes. The pikes still play an important role despite their quality, despite their level of quality relative to urbans and Spartans and things like that. Over here, as you can see, I'm always using the Silver Shield Pikemen with the cataphracts. I rarely ever use cataphracts unsupported. As powerful as they are, they just last so much longer and do so much more damage if some units are supporting them, stay around them. You can be more aggressive with them and less defensive if you keep pikes all around the cataphracts as you use them. So I really support, if you rushing like this. Right here, Paglia sees what's going on, and he is going to sort of pay less attention to the material on Hamilcar Barca's side. This is really funny. I left a whole Silver Shield Pikeman out here, because I just wanted to... Hamilcar was begging me for support for his archers, so I decided that it would be better to attack where Rome was with the cataphracts, not use the cataphracts to deter you know, aggression against Hamilcar's archers. But I did kind of feel like I could help him a little bit, so I sent him some pikes that I'm now neglecting because I'm doing this to the Roman armies over here. But anyway, back to my main point. Paglia sees what's going on, and while he is still going to keep these archers away as he's turned, he is going to try to stop me from continuing my attack because I've already routed 3 of Demon's Urbans, and I'm in a good position to continue the momentum a little bit. The only risky thing about my behavior here is that I'm very disconnected from allies. Luke is not in a good position to come and rescue me if something goes wrong, even if he wanted to. He's more focused on, with Hamilcar, sort of capitalizing on his archers and his complex, difficult-to-rush position. Not complex, but just, like, it's hard to make a decision to commit many units in one place because he has so many elements he can push and pull with all over the place. It's a real hallmark of his style, and it's a very advantageous style in a lot of ways. And I think with Sparta, it works really, really well, because they just have morale and stamina, and they're also good cav deterrents. Yeah, we're just gonna go look at this assault here. I'm using these pikes more so to deter Macedon from interfering, but I have to use them to help my beleaguered cataphract forces because they're kind of matched in some places, as Beast comes in to assist Demon. So, you know, again, we're not going to just use cataphracts alone and expect them to do everything magically. We need to support them because they're only 6 units, and this is where the pikes are perfect. They come in handy. They reach Beast just in time. I think it wasn't, it was reasonable of Beast to wager that these cataphracts would rout since they're so low in number, but even while winded, that's about as good as a gold cataphract, and maybe even better if the general is near them. But certainly their morale is a lot more reliable because of all the infantry that I keep near them at all times. That helps the cataphracts last a lot longer, and every second they last longer, and they're fighting, they're killing units, which is their whole goal. So tactically, it is a success to have more infantry around them, as opposed to just, you know, sending them out on their own in a vacuum and boxing somewhere with your infantry. That was a really good charge from Paglia, Demon right there. I thought it was Paglia because Paglia takes Scipii. Paglia is actually Macedon. But unfortunately, Demon's general routes, and that is very bad for him in this position. As you can see here, there's just sort of like a wall of silver units, silver shield units, rather. They're all silver. Cataphracts with my general right here, fighting a lot of cavalry. And they've already routed Urbans, as you can see, and they've sort of worked their way down to the last of Demon's cavalry. Beast here is supporting, but he only has cavalry to support with, and as the pikes keep pushing in, the cataphracts do not have to retreat. They can take the pressure long enough for the pikes to catch up. It forces any cavalry trying to support Demon to retreat and take losses as they pull away. I see that Beast's cav has some of it as routed, but it will come back at these numbers. Praetorians are excellent units, and they're not very easy to rout when they have big numbers and expect them never to come back. So I don't have anything to chase them with either. So this is a deceptive measure of success. These will come back and haunt me later. But it does, obviously, them being away like that, it makes it easier for me to continue attacking. There's less to defend against. Luca over here comes in at a really great time for support. It forces Demon to have to pull away. And more than anything, them having to pull away kind of makes their units rout. Again, they will come back, as these 2 cav I was looking at earlier do. I probably could have chased more units, but you know, there's more interesting developments going here. We can still kill Urbans more so. Paglia over here is trying to catch my Silver Shield Pikeman, so he's effectively not able to... he could kill every single one of these units pretty easily if he wants to, but he can't do it quick enough to get to Demon and Beast and protect them against Spartans and Urbans with cataphracts coming in behind him, ready to sandwich him. Keep in mind, Luke is being very well positioned with his cavalry, ready to strike anywhere at any time in all places. He's very, very good at keeping long-term positioning in mind. He doesn't restrict himself to short-term operational successes, let's say. So yeah. that is it so far. So this was a misclick. I accidentally continue attacking beasts. I'm obviously not a crazy psychopath, and I didn't think this would go well. As I'm sort of trying to reorganize my infantry, Luke gives me an arrow telling me that I charged beast. It actually didn't end up being a terrible thing, though, because Luke actually sees a good opportunity here to sort of do a really nice charge on beast servants as they move from multiple angles. I catch on to what he's doing a little bit too late for my comfort, but I see what he's doing, and I go in and support his attack. Luke comes in with a follow-up charge right here, and that is too much for Beast to be expected to handle. Beast throws a massive volley of Pila in response to try to damage these cavalry. Luke takes some pretty significant losses right there. Very good. That was a very good counter-aggressive move from Beast, I think. But more cataphracts come steamrolling in, holding the line long enough for Luke's Urbans and Hamilcar's Spartans to continue an assault. And, you know, again, this isn't really anything Beast could do anything about. He's just very outmatched here. As you could saw, the center of their army collapsed from a cataphract attack on Urbans that didn't have enough support to defend themselves against such a force. I think that's sort of the little weakness that Rome has when it takes a skirmish army like 6 archers, 6 cav, versus the Seleucids, is that the cataphracts... I feel confident, personally, rushing Urbans with cataphracts. I'm not saying I would win the whole game in a 1 versus 1 if somebody skirmished with Rome, but at least from my perspective, rushing Urbans early on with cataphracts and pikes close by in support feels a lot easier and more comfortable, and I feel like, personally, I can hunt down Urbans better. It's like the more Urbans you have, the harder that is to do, because they can retaliate with Pila. It's harder to occupy all the Urbans enough to prevent that from happening with just 6 units and pikes. So, as you see, Beast's reserves allow him to counter Pila any cavalry that tries to charge him, even though he has very little cavalry left. And it's a very effective deterrence if you see the losses Luke took from his charge. But the Beast definitely suffered a lot of cavalry losses from that combined cataphract, Praetorian cavalry attack. And they sort of try to bunch up. They're finally more united than ever. Paglia does have a few units that he is sort of sacrificing a little bit to prevent archer damage and more Spartans from interfering into the battle. He has just enough royal pikes here to hold Beast, to help hold with Beast against any Spartan attacks. But Luke has a lot of Pila left. I don't think he's used any of it yet. So he's able to match Beast Pila for Pila in this war here. Beast, very smart, goes into Testudo with a lot of his units trying to soak up auto Pila. It makes it hard for Luke to just be lazy. So he's got to work on microing a little bit to capitalize on his Pila. Legionary First Cohort here should help this force hold a little bit longer. Attrition will matter in this battle, as you can see. Paglia's doing great killing archers and everything, but I think at this time, he's not the only one. I also left units out here as well. But at this time we need more support. The Titan side needs more support in this part of the battle, because as it stands, it kind of looks like, with little help for some archer friends here, a lot of them, this force of the Titans is outmatched. There are too many Spartans able to surround, too many Urbans in good health, a small force of Silver Shield pikemen still alive. Paglia actually killed most of them, did a pretty good job on my infantry. The Silver Legions, though, I can have a little fun with them and sort of wedge them in awkward places. Luke is all over the place with cavalry. It's a question of can Paglia's numbers hold strong to simultaneously help defend against Spartans and Urbans attacking Beast's depleted force, and defend against Luke's cav. It's going to be very hard with this force of Royals. He does have more coming in to support to undermine any sort of flank attacks, or at least help do that, which is very good. He and Demon are in a really good place to bully these cav away with this pike force coming here, but Luke decides to just send every single thing in, and yeah, Luke's just sent everything in. He's trying to just destroy this entire box. I start taking the cataphracts out. I am tired in a lot of units, but the enemy is kind of winded in... Yeah, most of their units are winded, so I don't think it's terrible to use them right now. I just want to support Luke so he doesn't just die, but it looks like what Luke tried to do was held back pretty well by the Titans. He just didn't have the numbers or the stamina, I guess, to just cause a massive rout quickly enough to prevent the pikes from turning around and stopping his cav attack. And now Paglia and Beast will come in right here, and that is a crushing blow to a lot of our units right there. Yeah. Cataphracts try to take some pressure off Luke, but there's too few of them to really... I'm surprised... Yeah, it routs. Too few of them to change what happened. So, very good little counterattack there from Paglia and Beast. But, that was a very good hold. It sort of turned things around a little bit, but I think even with that move, they still have just way too much pressure to fight against. I see that Paglia did a pretty good job on that Spartan right there. Pretty good moves all around, I say. We have Spartans over here surrounding Royal. There's a lot of Royals here trying to catch up to the battle. If they hurry up, they might be in time to help salvage things. I still have a Silver Shield Pike that I haven't used. There's the Macedonian general getting run through and dying. That should cause some mayhem. It looks like the Spartans have really... They're really just pushing right through with help from Urbans and a little help from Silver Shield Legions I see over there. And yeah, the numbers and the amount of force going on here is just too much for the morale of Macedon, at least. The Legionary First Cohort is still alive. I think it's doing a lot. I think this is why it's wise to take a Legionary First Cohort. It's doing a lot to prevent the Titans from just losing. I mean, they're holding very well considering all the pressure. Nobody has a very strong force of cavalry left, so it's hard to just end it in one strike. So it's pure grit, it's pure attrition, pure, just infantry slogging it out here. Really funny cat and mouse game here with Beast. That's kind of hilarious that this is happening. Paglia just admits defeat. Right there, it was pretty hopeless at that point anyway. I'm gonna get some free kills with the Cataphracts. So when you see the kill stat, just remember some of this was just cheap kills. I am evil, I'm very evil for doing that, but, I think everybody does that these days. Luke is chowing down on the last of these units. Wiping them out of existence right there. And yeah, that is the battle. So I think, I don't think Demon played bad in this battle. He hasn't played in 3 years, so I'm not going to judge anything he did in this battle as good or bad. He's, I think he's a great player. He hasn't played in a long time. He very rarely plays. And I've been back for a minute playing semi-regularly, so it's not really fair to commentate on what he should or shouldn't have done. He's probably very rusty. But more so, I liked how it showed how cataphracts are to be used properly in a rushing situation. And I think he had support from very good allies. Like, Beast is a very strong Rome player, very good with his cavalry when it comes to charging other heavy units, especially. And honestly, no matter how well you play, there's just not really a lot you can do when there's allies mass routing. You only have cav supporting, and there's pikes just constantly pushing forward. So it's a really good way to show that I think the sorry, I'm messing up my words. It's a good way to show why I think the Seleucids are super threatening to Rome, especially in team games where the Seleucids might be supported by much more morale-wise stronger units like Urbans and Praetorian Cav and stuff like that. Especially in a battle where Urbans are very spread out and there's a lot of archers more so than infantry. Cataphracts really shine more and more in those battles, I think. At least versus Rome. And more particularly in terms of killing Urbans that are exposed. It's kind of easier. So, yeah, it was an interesting battle. It's a shame there's no... whoever the host was terminated. I forget who it was. Could have been me. I accidentally do that sometimes. When I don't want to wait for the game. Or I don't care for the replay. But I was glad to save this replay at least because I thought it was quite an epic showdown. And there was a very nice last stand at the end that the Titans held very well, unexpectedly. I thought that charge from Luke for sure would rout them, but the Legionary First Cohort Beast always takes, in addition to Paglia's dutiful sort of use of Royals in the endgame scenarios, really made their last stand something something inspiring and something very, impressive. So even in defeat, you can still have a good game. So yeah, I like this battle, and yeah, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Let's see. I like this battle a lot. I'm not, I don't have anything against the Titans or anybody really. I don't care about any bickering between groups of people. If I have a problem with somebody, it's between me and them. It doesn't mean I don't know, pick a faction, let's say, in the community. But to be fair to the Titans, they do very well in this battle. And I also liked this battle a lot, despite the outcome. So I'm going to show this as well. Today I'm with Sultan Adnan here. He's taken Pontus, and it looks like he has 1 militia cav, 3 scythe chariots, and 2 chariot archers, as well as 4 regular archers. I am the Spartans. I have 7 Cretans and 1 militia cav. The first thing I want to say, what I thought about this, our builds when we were deploying, is that, they're not very synergistic, considering the factions that we're against. I'd say we have, it's not like we can't win, but I would wager, I would guess, I don't know for sure, somebody tell me if you have a different opinion. I think we have the faction disadvantage here, and the main reason is that our infantry, our types of infantry, when you mix them, do not seem to fare well when they mix their infantry. Because the Spartans kind of have to attack unless it's pure urbans. They can defend, but if Macedon can outrange them with their sarissas, they kind of just have to attack if they're going to engage. And it's very hard to do that head-on against Royals, especially if Paglia has gold 2-1s. It looks like he doesn't have a huge amount of them, but every single one is probably gold 2 or close to that. Sorry. So it's hard. It's going to do a lot of damage to the Spartans if I try to take that head on. And Beast has his signature juggernaut of an army. 17 urbans. 16 urbans, 1 legionary first cohort for morale, and 3 cavalry. They don't need more than 3 cavalry from Rome, in my opinion. I think that was the smart thing to do. It's either take less cavalry, more archers, and more urbans. That would be my philosophy, and I think Beast, his army's pretty reasonable here. Paglia has a decent archer force. I think if we were Luke and Hamilcar, if we were those kind of players, they would need more archers and cav to play with that style, or at least not make it just them chasing and running away or something. Something I don't think that kind of player would like to do, ideally, in a Realm Total War game late at night. But, it's not really... I don't really play like that. I play more aggressively. It's just more fun to me. No judgment, no shade. Despite that, I have adapted a little bit, and I do see myself playing more abstractly, more spread out, more skirmishing principles, though. And it's just me being a product of what I'm playing against a lot. So, luckily for the Titans, I'm not super skirmishy, although I do have my moments where I take a long time to do things and get going, but not the worst. I'm typically known as a more aggressive player, I'd say. Little action there from some scythe chariots. It was a good little punch in the face to this companion. It took a lot of losses. Adnan's lucky he didn't lose anything, so he doesn't have to worry about going amok pretty soon. But this rush is really making him move his units back. I don't think these... I basically, back to my point from a long time ago, I don't think we have enough infantry to face, like, what this is. We have to skirmish and run away for a long time. And before we engage, we have to kill a lot of units for free somehow, or make them tired while we stay fresh somehow, before we even engage. Otherwise, it's very difficult to win this infantry battle. It's very difficult. So part of our logic is going to be to try to, just isolate their units somehow, and destroy them in smaller blocks so that we can face their final force a lot better. Adnan here still going in with these in and out sort of charges with a side chariot. It looks like he unfortunately gets caught and he's at risk. Yeah, he routes. So this chariot, I don't know if a chariot routes and it comes back with full numbers, whether or not it's prone to going amok. It routed with full numbers, so I don't know. It lost a chariot, so now officially this chariot is a liability. If it comes back, I would want to use it sooner rather than later. If it loses one unit, it can go amok, like at any random time, I think. So that's sort of a loss for us. I think, given that I have 12-8, if I was Adnan personally, I would have not taken a militia cav. I would have not taken any chariot archers. I would have just taken chariots, I think. I think because I have 12-8. Just 6 chariots and 14 gold, bronze shield pikemen. I think that makes us a lot stronger in this battle. With 6 chariots, we don't worry about defending my archers. I have a militia cav, so we have an offensive capability, even without chariot archers. And I think just that those 14 gold, 2 bronze shield pikes, that's a lot of quality units. And that's what we need to win sort of a war of attrition if we're going to rush. But we don't have that. And then took 10 infantry only, so I have 12. Both armies have more infantry than either of our armies do, face to face. So, I decide to have us, this is Adnan following my decision, rush this segment of Paglia's army. I think that if we can catch it, that he will rout. But I fail to notice that my units are a little bit tired, and more tired than Paglia's are at least, and even though they're Spartans, it's going to make it really hard for them to actually catch these units. But now that we're sort of in this position here, what I decide to do instead is just use this as a moment to just start killing Paglia's archers, try to make it easier for Adnan to use his chariots later on in the game. But it looks like he is at risk at losing a chariot, or at least getting in a muck very desperately if these archers are allowed to continue shooting it. Looks like he's done some kind of very good damage to Beast's Cav, though. Paglia is going to withdraw, and I think given his stamina, he is actually going to give this away, and we sort of don't realize that quick enough. I think at this juncture, we should stop chasing Paglia. I think that would be the safer thing to do. But we do. So it's very important to pay attention to the details of stamina, unlike what I did. But it's not all a loss. We're getting good shots on these archers as they run away. Paglia has lost some pikes and some cavalry from pure archer damage. Little too late to get that. Little too late to get this unit away, but it doesn't take many losses. And Paglia's cavalry and his royals continue to get shot. So all in all, we are still able to make something out of the position that we sort of got ourselves into. But Paglia, I think, should get away. He should be able to get away, I think. Although the stamina of my Spartans is not too bad. And if you look, Beast is now winded and some Spartans are fresh. That is looking very good for us. Paglia still has royals in reserve over here, but they are even more tired than Beast's servants as they try to catch up. So if we turned around and fought Beast now, I don't think it still isn't good just because of numbers, but we would last a long time with more fresher units and chariots nearby. It wouldn't be the worst idea. And royals, when they're tired, they're very limited in reliability and effectiveness. They need to really be fresh. Unless, of course, we are similarly tired, which we are not. Well, Adnan is, actually. If you see his units are tired. Well, we're sort of in an awkward position here, because if we stop, we risk being in this position of being sandwiched all over the place by royals and 17 urbans, which isn't good. It's not a good way for us to use our archers, for sure. We want to get out of that, but if we do that, then Paglia can stop and shoot Adnan with his two Cretans, which would also be very bad for him, and he would have to turn around to face the urbans, or at least try to just face Paglia head-on, which, because of his numbers, would be a good idea. Either way, though, I think it's a mistake for us to continue running like we do, and we need to just stop, and we don't do that. But, you know, and I also waste a militia cav right there. Pretty good waste of a militia cav. Solid. Yeah, that's really the direction I wanted to go in. That's gonna work. Yeah, that's... I mean, considering, all things considered, you'd think this unit would have 2 hit points, based on what it just did. Luckily, my Spartans are still fresh, but poor Adnan is tired. I think he should just stop rushing. I don't know if at this point I'm telling him to keep rushing, or if he's doing this on his own, but... yeah, he's not going to catch... I mean, at least these royals are also winded and tired now, so it's not like he's tired while they're fresh. So, you know... but at this point, we need to chill. I'm just walking myself. I've been shooting beasts urbans this whole time, and as you can see, he's taken good losses. We've got 69, 58, 70. Yeah, we've taken some... that's some pure archer fire so far, so those are good archer shots. If you shoot urbans while they're running with archers like that, the urbans' defense isn't as effective, and they lose a lot more units than if they were standing still and taking the head-on archer fire. Like, as you can see, when the units stand still, they take their shield out. Helps them survive. When they're just walking like that, and they're going from side to side, or whatever, the archers will accumulate very good casualties on them over time. Yay, my militia cap came back. So let's just triple speed this. This is, that was a very annoying waste of movement. It did nothing. I mean, it didn't do nothing. Like, we got some nice kills on these royals. Like, they're in their 90s in some units. 174, that's a lot of losses. You know, we didn't do nothing. We routed a couple archers, and the remaining archers are, like, at half force. Some of Paglia's cav died. Some of Beast's cav also definitely died. Was it worth it? Kind of. I don't know. We kind of need the chariots really badly. Which is why I think it would have been better to take 6 chariots, honestly. I don't think the chariot archers really were necessary, considering Greece always has more than enough archers, and the Titans are not skirmishers, so there's no reason to even expect them to take, you know, so many archers that we need Greece and archers from Pontus. Everybody knows these guys love infantry battle a lot more. Beast is, I mean, Adnan is resting up, and he has gotten his troops to winded. Some are even warmed up, so that is very positive looking for us. Paglia is at a similar level of stamina, so we've sort of undid the damage of our prolonged rushing. That didn't have any success in actually catching infantry units. So, not a total disaster, but now Adnan is he has to run more while winded. It's not great. Which is going to hurt him, and the archers are in a terrible place that are hard to defend. Luckily, though, their cavalry is very depleted, so it's not a total disaster. We're trying to get out of a sort of a power clamp, you know, getting sandwiched in. So we're going to reposition here to face the Titans more head-on. I'm personally sick of running around, so I want to just engage, and I'm going to try to deter Beast from engaging Adnan by asserting more presence near the urbans. So that's where things stand. Keep in mind, Paglia has a good force of 5 royals that are just resting right here when they're fresh. They're going to be tough to deal with. Beast continues to attack, but Adnan successfully is able to circle around. I think at this point, unless somebody protests against how close he is to the red line, Adnan should just stay here and rest. I don't think he should move anymore. If he needs help, I will send Spartans. Beast is winded while he's tired, so he's not, you know, it's not good, but it's not, he's not going to just mass route for no reason. Keep in mind, he should have a lot of gold Zeus bronze shield pikes, so it's a strong force. I know there's only 10 of them. I would have preferred 14 or something like that, but it's still if they're gold 2 with a general inside of them, it's a good force. So no need to keep moving. I would rest. I'd take Pila. If he gets Pila'd and I don't, it's actually really good because my Spartans will be just that much more effective. One thing that's going good for us is that I'm allowed to just sit and rest with all Spartans until they're fresh this whole time. But it doesn't really matter because the Titans are also now pretty much just fresh. Most of Macedon is back to normal, so really we did a little bit of bleeding damage to the Titans, and our units didn't take as much, so that's the main takeaway we got from it. You know, the Titans, they lost, the Servant's now down to 35. They've taken substantial losses from archer fire this whole time, so it's not like we rushed for nothing in the end of the day. If Adnan stops moving and rests, he'd definitely be in a better position. But the Titans are in a good place, I'd say, right here. They just have lost some units, but they're still definitely strong enough to deal with us. I'd say the infantry odds are still definitely against us, more so. We also don't have support from chariot archers anymore. Both the chariot archers died. At least I think so. We just have one scythe chariot, I think, and a militia cav. So that's our cavalry is just a scythe chariot for heavy stuff. Beast and Paglia still have tiny amounts of cavalry, and they are useful because they're killing some archers that otherwise could just hang out and shoot everything from the side uncontested. Massive infantry engagement is developing, at least here. Beast threw a lot of peel at the Spartan, as you can see, down to 10 men. Just shows sort of the advantage Rome can have when it has so many infantry against any pike force, even Spartans. You can just delete units with the volume of pila. Winded and tired Royal Pike comes into support. If the Royal Pikes are lucky and I don't engage them, they will actually be fresh pretty soon. So if I push in now, I actually might kill them. I kind of see how dire the situation is a little bit with the positioning. The amount of urbans that Beast still has in reserve that could easily flank me and whatever. So I'm trying to just kill units very quickly. Adnan needs to come down and link up with me to form a defensive wall. I think this attack is very good here, considering the condition of the units that my Spartans are fighting. So I think that Adnan really needs to take his pikes and use them to screen the Spartans, because the Spartans right here are our only good unit to attack with, and the weaker units should be in a closer toward them, I would say, if I was going to say anything. One good thing about what Adnan's doing is that he is a pila screen, at least, or he's something for archers to shoot at that isn't our main attack force. So he still has some value right there. I would definitely link up with these Spartans right here and form like a little bit of a helpful defensive wall, more so. Units getting peeled and attacked from behind. Not good, not good. Paglia's being kind of wise with his pikes, I think. I would consider this wise behavior. Certainly do not engage 4 Spartans with 3 royals. That is never going to end well for you. But I am in a bad position now here because of Beast support. We're making good headway over here, but without support, my attack on these royals is counteracted by these urbans that have spilled over. So Paglia still is doing good moves. He's not accepting this engagement. That is a very bad idea if he does. So it's pretty smart of him to not do that and kind of stay back until later. I need to get my Spartans committed somewhere because we need to start killing units. They have every second we're engaged and we're not killing units is kind of a second against us. So gonna kill some routing units with my militia cap. That's all it's good for at this point. But yeah, we've knocked out a pretty good amount of royals here and some urbans. So still pressing on. Sultan Adnan here. Usually he's very good about boxing. I'm not sure why he doesn't really do that in this game, but he is caught really, really off guard. These urbans and these royals are just way too much pressure for him to handle, and they're just spilling right through his ranks. The units that he's fighting are better in quality than his units. They are outnumbering him, and they are more fresh in terms of stamina than he is, and he just lost his general. So a lot of these units are going to rout without killing much, just bad for us. Definitely need to form a tighter box here. My Spartans have been most generally attacking. I'm trying to get them into some semblance of a formation, but there's just no recovering this at this point. I have Spartans deeply engaged that can't just turn around right here. I have Spartans that are almost all dead on this side. Little hammer and anvil there, support from Adnan. If this was a cataphract, I'm sure it would do wonders. I have a very good line here with my Spartans. I think this is going very well. Very good position to attack, but it's going to be undermined by what the Titans are doing right here. Huge, massive, powerful blob attack. It's the right thing to do with the urbans in this situation. Outnumbering them, better quality. Look at that phalanx charge from Paglia. Beautiful little powerful attack there. Oh my god, perfect execution of that right there. Some more Bronze Shield pikemen just get deleted off the field. You can't even tell they were there anymore. There's just 2 left. I don't know how they're still holding. Spartans are doing very good against these royals here. I'm guessing because the royals say they're winded and the cataphracts, the Spartans are fresh. They're behaving like cataphracts at least. One last Scythe Chariot. He just used it. It routes a lot of units here. It looks pretty hopeful. It looks like we've almost alleviated this part of the battle for us. But they have such a strong line. Look at this line from Beast and Paglia. It feels like I just killed an entire army with that chariot. Thanks to that chariot, at least, I just killed a huge army. And now I have to fight a second army after that. If I win this battle for us, I'm going to get the most kills in a 2v2 ever recorded. Or I lose. It's one of those kinds of things. Like, there's just so much left to kill. And Adnan has lost everything. All of his infantry is gone. So, my Spartans are just everywhere. There's no... It's really hard for me to defend what I have left. Part of it is just my own decision. I'm just trying to attack, but, like... I don't know if there was a moment where I could really have boxed more effectively here. Look at these Spartans that were once slaughter units have just been absolutely engulfed and destroyed. No helping them. Just trying, even to kill this urban with 14 men was such an arduous task for these Spartans. Very good little pincer on some final units here with the Spartans. Trying to get right back into the battle here. Somehow, Urbans are still routing, and somehow I'm still, with the Spartans, still fighting on. It just goes to show how great Spartans are. This kind of proves it. These are better. This is the only unit I consider better than cataphracts, or at least gold 2 cataphracts in 31k. This unit right here, the Spartans. Even gold 2 cataphracts are not going to do this amount of work for you. Absolutely everything in the book is being done that should kill Spartans, and they're still not dying. Right here, the general doesn't care that it's flanked and surrounded all sides. It's still helping this little tiny unit right here try to annihilate this last royal pike. Just one final kill right there. Right there, only then has that other Spartan just routed. That kills the royal pike, still killing units. Well, routed it, not killed it, but like still routing units and not just turning around. Unbelievable stamina. Look at this. Look at the sheer power of the Titans right here. And then right there, perfect encirclement, and that's the end of the Spartans right there. Very, very good game. I think the rushing from us was a waste of time. Don't blame Paglia for running away, because it would have been stupid to engage and lose units for no reason. Spartans held on for a long time against a lot of pressure, so that explains the kills. Adnan, unfortunately, was winded, and he didn't have a very good defensive position against the kind of enemies he was facing. The Titans are not noobs whatsoever in infantry battles, so he was just overwhelmed and he didn't get the kills he probably wanted, unfortunately. Kill stats right here. The Spartans got gargantuan kills. In most of my videos, you see the cataphracts get these kind of kills. It's just 6 of them. But, like, all 8 Spartans, except for one, probably the one that took all of the Pila from Beast you saw earlier, every single one of them did an absolutely amazing job with kills over 100 easily. Just the one that was Pila got 14 kills. What do you expect a unit that lost all of its men to do? Nothing. But the Spartans all did what you expect Spartans to do, and that is to fight until the end. But there is something to be said for the Cretan archers as well. The Cretans I used them mainly to shoot urbans and pikes, and they didn't get bad kills in a lot of cases. For a 99, 91 kills, that's pretty devastating to some infantry units there. And the militia cavalry helped kill at least one full unit of enemy archers, and for the cost, I'd say that's a pretty good trade-off. It's almost like if I took an archer, it just killed another archer, which is decent enough for me. It's just a trade-off. Not a good or a bad thing, necessarily. So, that is the battle. I really enjoyed it. And well played, everybody. Yeah, see you next time. That's a little double feature right there.